Okay, team, quick message today. These phones of ours and this social media world of ours can be very, very powerful. Number one, it needs to be service media. I'm going to start there. Brian Nunez coined that term, I believe he did. Service media. So let's backtrack when I was a young kid. Middle school. I'm going to focus on middle school and high school. And many of you listening, it was before social media, before we had these phones to communicate in epic fashion. I mean, a video can go out and millions of people can see it. Your video, my video. In my case, maybe hundreds of thousands, but that's still a big reach. But in so many cases, people have the ability to project their point of view. That was not the case when I was growing up. The elders in that community, my peers in middle school and high school, and my parents. That was 99.9% of all the voice, the education that I received, how I learned how to speak, my views. That was my tiny little microcosm. Well, now that microcosm is huge. We would all agree that most middle school and high school kids have phones now, and they have the ability to have great reach with that phone. They have the ability to see other messages outside their little town. Small town America. I'm not going to paint a broad brush and say that hate and bigotry and racism all comes from small town America, but I know some of it does, and in some cases I would say a decent amount of it does. I've watched it. I've witnessed it. So now you have the ability to see outside of that little microcosm of that small town. So one of the key reasons for my message here is we have a huge responsibility to not be silent, to project beautiful message of peace and love and equality, and overwhelm the bad. Now, overwhelm kind of seems like a harsh term to use, but yes, we need to completely overwhelm the bad. I use this sports analogy all the time, and it's like when a team's trying to win a championship, you know, the culture and the chemistry in the film room, the weight room, the practice field, and as far as football is concerned, Friday Night Lights in high school, and all the key pieces to creating great culture, you have to have. I mean, if there's a film session, you're pop tall and you're paying attention. If there's a weight room session or a mat room session or a practice session, you are going, you are all in. And at a certain point, when a massive majority is all in, guess what? Overwhelming pressure is put on the small group that does not want to be all in. So we got to be all in on this message of all of us. Equality is beautiful, and racism is terrible, and hate is terrible. We got to be all in. Well, we're never going to be all in, but we have to have massive, overwhelming majority to where it puts intense pressure on the hate, that tiny percentage of hate that will still exist as we overwhelm them. We don't allow them to. When I say don't allow them to have a voice, they're always going to have a voice, but we overpower their voice with our voice and message of good over evil. That's the key. It's just like that football team, man. We are not going to allow you to half-ass it. You are going to, if you want to be on this team, and what I'm talking, this team is this state I'm in, city, this state, this country, and this world that I get to enjoy. That's our freaking team. That's the team. We can't allow hate. We have to put pressure on the hate that's out there. Now, I'm a firm believer that needs to be nonviolent. I don't like to see our country torn to pieces, our world torn to pieces, because people are mad. I think we can have overwhelmingly aggressive messaging that's not destructive, not physically and mentally destructive. We always keep ourselves inside the guardrails with our messaging, and we make it crystal freaking clear. While we're doing that, we're maintaining that extreme clarity with what our message is all about. And there's a huge freaking heart that surrounds us. It's like this big freaking heart I mean, we are walking locked in arm, physically locked, with our voices and our arms and our messaging on social media. We're locked as one. And the small percentage that doesn't agree with us, we overwhelm them, not in a hateful way. That's what they do. But we do it in a way that shows that this is our freaking team. We're the coaches of this country. And we got to be great stewards as that coach. You know, it's not one coach, it's all of us. It's us, the millions of us. We're the stewards, we're the coaches of this your beautiful city, state, country, and planet. You're all living in your little microcosm right now, and you got to play your part. So when you're posting on social media, you don't be afraid to speak. You don't be if you grew up in one of those areas where there's a small percentage of people are they're just still stuck in a rut. And I know some people say, well, they wouldn't harm a fly. It doesn't matter. We can't allow the language that some of us grew up to, that we didn't know. It was we didn't know if that was right. We heard the N-word sometimes. We heard people being hateful to other cultures, other races, other, if it's race, if it's gender, if it's homosexuality, no matter what it is, we just heard it. And I know some of you know what I'm talking about. And it would come up well, he or she they just talk like that. Yeah, we got to graciously speak up about that. And I try to put the word grace in front of everything. You can accomplish a lot when the word grace comes in your communication. You can stand tall, and you can speak with great conviction. And I mentioned the other day in a message, people like Mandela and Abraham Lincoln and other great, and Mother Teresa, they had great conviction, and that's what we have to do. But they were always gracious with the way they messaged. And you remember that you can always speak your voice. This world of ours needs you to speak up. This world of ours needs you, each and every one of us, to be the best coach we can be towards this. We all play our part. So the phone, the service media, it's all a great tool. You got to use it wisely. I want you and I to be the best coaches that we can be to help with the messaging. So I love y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. That's the message today. Gosh, that was 100% improv. That's just the way it came out. I wish I could sit side by side with each one of you and have this conversation as we work through, because this is what it's going to take. Millions and millions of messaging and millions of people, conversations where people are talking back and forth as we work through the mess that we're in, because there's so much good that can come from working through this, all of us getting through this and putting that gracious pressure on ones that need it. So let's be coaches together. I love y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Live, love, laugh, and serve big. Big focus on the serve from Yancey's backyard. Be good, all you rock stars.